Yeah, well, first of all, appreciate you guys, coming on the podcast. We can start off with just a little introduction, name, position, favorite toppings on pizza, or whatever you want. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm Cody Simon. I'm a linebacker, and he was from New Jersey, and I like bacon on pizza, bacon and chicken.
Facts. Me too.
Yeah, Tommy Eichenberg, linebacker, from Cleveland, Ohio, and just normal pepperoni on pizza.
Pepperoni. Yeah. Well, you should know me. I'm G. Scott. Appreciate you guys tapping into the podcast in Seattle, Washington. I'd say pepperoni, and I like pepperoni and bacon. I like meat lovers. What?
Hey man, you right?
But like I said, man, I appreciate you guys coming on here. You guys are two, people on the team that I've had many conversations with, just about mindset and what it takes to in some ways survive on this level of playing. And for the first question I want to ask y'all today, which I think it goes right into suit with the reason I wanted you guys on here, is what does a leader look like in a work environment? It doesn't matter if it's a work environment, football team, just somebody in the community. And there's no right or wrong answer. It's just for everything we talk about today, it's not even about right or wrong. It's just open conversation, dialogue. Like when you think of this, what does it remind you of? Like, in your opinion, what is a leader?
Well, I know when I first got to Ohio State, like he was already here, and our coach, he would always talk about like being leaders, being seen, heard, and felt. Mm-hmm. And it's a work in progress. Like no one really comes in here as like perfect leadership every day. Like it's really tough to come here every day and vocally lead. It's really hard to actually do everything in the right way, and it's hard to motivate others. And I think those three things are what's the most important part, just being seen, heard, and felt. And I'm still struggling with all of them. Really, I'm trying to work on and get better in all three of those spots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I think Coach Key said that, like seeing. Well, I think a lot of the coaches said that, but like leader is like. I think the biggest thing is like consistency. Like, you got to be there every single day. You gotta put in work every single day. Like you can't, like not even every single day, but like every single rep. I mean, it was last year. Like when we were working out together, it was like every single rep was like a fight. Every single rep was hard.
Yeah, and it's almost like, obviously, as a leader, doing it for yourself to be get better yourself, because that's just what a leader's supposed to do. You're supposed to just be an example, but also it's just for everyone around you who's watching.
Yeah.
From the first time a freshman gets in here, the first thing a young guy wants to do as soon as when they get to a place like Ohio State, they want to look to the older guys and see what's the norm around here. That's like anywhere you go in life. If you're in a new environment, you look to somebody that's been there before and just look at what is the standard. And so in times like these, especially like, when you got a whole new class of freshmen in here, they're all trying to seek, what's the norm around here. And so if they come in here and see the older guys doing things the right way, performing at a high level, just taking all the little things seriously, then it just sets a foundation, and it's a good, this is a good foundation to look at, you know what I'm saying? And so I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, no, I think when I came in, all the senior guys, they were all on their last year, or second to last year, and it almost seemed like every rep they did was lights out. Like it was almost perfect, and down to all their technique and everything. So it's like, it's not just that final picture that you have to look at. And so we were training with them, and every rep they're like straining to the finish. And like, I know it's cliche, we say it all the time, but they really gave it their all. Like Haley, like he's been through so much, and he's learned how to really strain. He's taught himself how to like give everything he can to get that last rep, and then you see him come out in the semifinal game and like making big plays. And he hasn't really gotten a chance to make plays, and then you see all that work, all that hard work, like for like 6 years, come out in 1 or 2 games, and it's like amazing to see.
And it's hard, dude, because like like it's I mean, it's obviously, you know, weightlifting and being an example in the weight room, but then it's like football, like going out there and playing football, like we're human too. Like, you know, when you face obstacles at practice, you just fucked up a rep or whatever the case may be. And, you know, having a strong competitive nature, you're just so frustrated. I know you get as pissed as anybody when you make mistakes. I've seen you slam a helmet, you're pissed off, but then it's like, who are you after that? You know, are you the person that's just kind of like, you know what, whatever, you know, forget this. I'm not going to really go as hard. And I've battled all of it. I've felt all of those emotions. I felt wanting to just be like, you know, forget this. I don't really mind. I felt all those emotions. So to be able to keep going at a high level, that's also hard too.
Yeah, like what you're saying about Hilly was like, but the only thing that people see is like the end product after that 6 years. You know, it's like nobody sees like the things that go into it, like besides what they see like on the football field, or you know what I mean. And it's like there's a lot of things that you got to do right just to get to that point, just to have that opportunity.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's something like no one really understands, but. Like talking about a leader, I think like leadership is like putting the team before yourself, though, for sure. Like, try not to think about yourself.
And that's deep. I feel like that's a hard thing to do. I feel like I do the best that I can to be a leader in the ways that in any of the ways that I can be. But I feel like I don't know. I want to know how you guys feel about this. Do you ever feel like you fall short from your own? So if you were to sit here and ask me, what is a leader? And I could break down to you every component of a leader. And if I were to look at myself and act like I check every single one of those boxes, I'd be lying. And so it's just, sometimes it's hard because I feel like I'm so heavily critical on myself. And I don't know, do you guys feel the same way just about, you know, being a leader? And are you living up to your own standards of, if you could just sit here and say it on a podcast, you know, what is a leader? Do you feel that makes sense what I'm saying?
No, I agree. I understand what you're saying completely. Like, when you look at yourself in the mirror, like every morning, like you're getting ready to go to 6:30 or 6 o'clock dawn patrol or something like that. Like, like you're telling yourself like, am I just gonna just get through this, or am I gonna bring the young guys and pick up these guys and go and even though I don't want to do this, I'm still gonna put my best foot forward and show them that there is a way to do this the right way. Yeah. And like, I think my intention. I try to do everything as not as perfect, but like as strong as a leader would. But I don't think it's ever like perfect. Right. Like there's no no one's ever gonna get to that level where you could like say, all right, he's done nothing wrong. He's made every single play that there is to make. He's never failed a rep. He's never did this and that. But like I think it's that intention of if I can do all these little things right, it gives me the best chance to get that play, make that play right, not miss that rep, do all this other stuff. So I think that's where I just try to strive to show that intent that I'm trying to make every play, but you know, not everything comes down to that. Like you can't always make every single play.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I agree. I think you just got to go like you'll never be perfect. No one will ever be perfect, and if you think you are, like if you do think you check every single box and like perfectly and then like that's where you get messed up because I mean, you know, be complacent, you know, and you won't. It's like, why am I even working anymore? Why am I even showing up? Why, like,
I feel like if you think you have a fig, if you go ahead, my fault.
No, you're good. I mean, like, just like if you think you made it, like you'll never. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, if you call yourself a leader, and you think that you have everything figured out, that's probably a hint that you're probably not the leader that you think you should be. Yeah. Because in my mind, I feel like if you're a true leader and someone that's truly ambitious about whatever you're doing, then there has to be a part of you that just feels like there's always something more that you have to either achieve or, you know, gain, whether that's like, you know, statistically, awards, or just even for yourself as a person. You know, if you feel like you've kind of just like that's why I try to, I don't know, sometimes I keep that in mind when I'm critical of myself about things. It's just like kind of just the way it's supposed to be. If I wasn't being critical of myself, that would be a problem in its.
Yeah, you'd be messed up if you weren't.
Right.
I think like if you're not critical about yourself, then like that's where you can get in some trouble, you know? Like you let some things slide and it doesn't bother you. Like you miss a rep or you miss a play and it doesn't bother you.
Yeah.
And like that, I think that's where, you know, things can go wrong.
Right.
And I think that like it's important that we like understand that like we got to this place, we got to Ohio State, we got to like this position not because like we got lucky or we went to these camps. Like we've been working like our whole lives and like once we get here and we're playing against everyone who's all been at the top of their game, like you don't win on every rep. Like we just had that team run, like it was people were getting pissed, like they lost one rep and they're ready to throw hands with coach. Like like part of that is being a leader, like being mad when you're supposed to be mad, showing emotion so others can see that it's okay to show emotion. Like and I think that's really important with our team. Like, you know, just being able to like have that raw emotion. Like like when you get frustrated, like people feel you get frustrated. And like they respond to that. They go harder, you go harder, everybody goes harder.
I think that's another beautiful thing just about playing at this level is that you're just forced to be a better version of yourself because you're just constantly. I mean, 100%. if you even care, you gotta care. If you care and you truly, you know, have a good give a shit factor, then it's gonna pay dividends for you in the end because every day you're being challenged by someone that's better than you in some kind of way. Right. Like if you're the strongest, then there's someone faster. Yeah. If you're the fastest, there's someone stronger. And it's just like no matter how you slice it, there's somebody that can push you somewhere. And so when you put yourself and you submerge yourself in that environment, it's just a formula just to be better. It's like we talk about the crucible. It's just like, you know, you burn out all those impurities and you know, in time, you just become a better version of yourself. Yeah. So
I get that.
I agree.
Yeah. What's your guys' biggest fear? I know that's a loaded question. It could be a lot of things, but if like when I say the question, what's something that it comes to your head?
Giving up. And we talked about this a couple of times. Like when we get to like 65, or like, would you move to Florida? Like, because you know life is good down there, and you know some parts of me were like, yeah, like I want to like live in a nice on a golf course and by the beach, whatever. But like we're so used to like going hard and like kind of being that kind of grind that like I don't think I could give that up. You know, like I kind of enjoy waking up at 5:30 and maybe even earlier, but like I kind of enjoy like having stress when I walk into the Woody. Like, you know, like you guys probably feel it too when you walk in, like, you know, your heart's kind of getting a little up and you like stressed and you know, coach is going to be on you. Like all the strength staff's going to be on you, but like I don't want to have to like get in that point where I'm like relaxing because I feel like I'm just going behind. I'm losing it, you know? Yeah. Like, I don't know. That's kind of.
I don't know. I wonder like if people like that like did what, you know, like what we kind of do, like when they get older, like if they can just relax or, you know, if they, which I think they just, you know, find something else, you know, they get some running, you know, because it's like you need something to keep chasing after. I think.
I heard Andrew Tate say one day or one time, it's like an old interview of him, and he was like a young fighter. You guys know who Andrew Tate is, right?
Yeah.
He was this when he was like a young fighter, and he was like, he fights because everything else is kind of just like boring.
Right.
He's like people that spend all week getting through week just because they can't wait to get to the weekend and watch movies at night. He's like, that lifestyle is just boring, and I could never live that because it's not enough to fulfill my heart and my desires and who I want to be. And so he's like, I desire so much more than just like the regular boring 9 to 5. Like I need something that challenges to take my life. Like I know that there's a possibility, like if I don't execute correctly, that I can get hurt or something to give you that adrenaline rush to that, like to, put fear inside of your, like to, that fear factor in you. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that fear factor is that gives you that adrenaline. And he's like, and that's what kind of what he explained. And I can compare it to my own life. I kind of feel like that too. It's just like I need that kind of from somewhere. Yeah. That thing in my life that just pushes me, or that person in my life, like that you don't want to let down almost, or it's just like it's just always something. Now, a part of me thinks that can come with some cons too. Yeah. You may feel a sense of never getting quite satisfied, or maybe like stress, like, you know, higher stress levels than other people. But it's just like, I just feel like I just live for that kind of lifestyle, and this is where I just love the way that life is. Like, that's just what it is.
I think that's where sorry, I think that's where like you're living life at its most fulfilled moment right there. Like when you're fearing the most, but your adrenaline's at the highest. Like, I know we either read a couple Mike Tyson books. I listen to it, but like he knows that everything he's feeling, that guy on the other side is feeling too. Like all that fear, all that pain. Like everybody feels it. We're all human, but it's just how well you can control that and like and contain it into a one focused goal and like going to win that moment or win that fight and win that day or whatever. So, I mean, yeah, that's what I think.
I feel like there's a lot of parallel. Do you like boxing a lot?
A little bit.
I love boxing.
I just bought that book, The Iron
Motto?
Yeah, the Iron Mind.
Yeah.
I listened. Did you listen on Audible?
Yeah.
I listened to about half of it.
Coach
I thought it was
Walsh.
good.
That was
Yeah,
Coach
Coach
Walsh's.
Yeah, I think Coach Walsh is the reason why I started reading. Actually.
I think so too. He suggested it to me, and I wish I would have read it. Back when he suggested it to me, but that was before like I was reading at all. Like but I just bought it. So
he changed my mentality about so many different things. Because I was right first when I got to Ohio State, and I was questioning if I was really like if I could really compete, and then it was like mental like support that was just like, man, everybody feels that same way.
Yeah,
like,
that's what he told. He told
good.
me that too.
Yeah.
So because I'll never forget, I don't remember everything that went into the conversation, but him and I had a one-on-one conversation.
Yeah.
In his office, and it was I think the reason I came to him to talk to him, and I think it was because it was actually one of you two had told me that day that he told you guys about. It was actually about boxing. And it was about, I don't know, it was just he spent time in a meeting, instead of even really going over the X's and O's of football, he spent dang near the whole meeting talking to you guys about this philosophy of boxing and, you know, the mentality side of things. And so when I found that out, I went to him after practice, and I just like, man, I wanted to.
You told me that. I remember you told me about that.
Yeah.
I think I might have told you about that.
Yeah.
You told me that you went to talk to him, but we used to watch like rounds of boxing, like just in the meeting, just
before practice, just
bro. I'm telling you, boxing
rounds.
is the most fascinating thing because it's like, it's just the true. I don't know. I feel like a part of humanity. It's almost like essentially like the essence of manhood. It's like some of it's barbaric and just fighting. It's like if you look at like where we come from as humans, it's just like, you know, we started watching this one show called Vinland Saga, and it's just like it talks about the times where it's like, you know, 1000 BC, and it's just like when it was literally the way life was, you know, you kill or be killed, and it's like, so when you kind of see people expressing like almost like the true way of manhood and it's just really cool to me, like all the components that go into boxing. It's just like, besides like the head trauma, that I think that kind of sucks, but outside of that, like the lessons is amazing. Like that's one thing. If and when, God willing, I do have a son, I want him to fight. And I know that's kind of sounds, especially in 2023, that sounds people be like, you're crazy, but you know, the life lessons are just beautiful in that. Just like you said, it just teaches you like there's another, like it's just like, what more can you ask for? You're sitting in a corner of a fucking ring in the 8th round, and there's a guy over there that's going through the same things that you're going through, and he feels all the things you feel. He feels fear. He feels fear of embarrassment, because not only is there 60,000 people here watching, there's, you know, millions on TV watching. I feel like my arms are cramping up. You know, they feel all these things, and then whatever that voice is to say, you know, to get up again and keep fighting, whatever that is, it intrigues me so much. And I think that's one of the biggest things I love about the sport of boxing.
Yeah. The part I like about that too is like, we would hear that those two boxers become like best friends after, or like there's so much love that goes into like being willing to die in that ring, and someone else doing the same thing as you, and like you just share like a bond that like we went at each other for 12 rounds, through all we could. We have nothing left, and there's nothing else to give but like just love, and like, man, like you threw everything you had, and like I can't disrespect you because we both went. as hard as we could.
That's facts.
And it's like all on you too. Like it's not like it's literally you lose, it's your fault no matter what.
Yeah,
like,
literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
Like
who for people that love to blame people, like that is not the sport.
Yeah.
For
What's
people to get into.
what's BCD mean again? What do
Yeah. Just say it, Tom.
That's right. Yeah. But
No, yeah, real talk. It's a beautiful sport, but I think challenging yourself and putting your body in vulnerable situations, not even your body, just like mentally, putting yourself in vulnerable situations is like how you prepare yourself for the hardships that come with life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the people that, you know, never have to really, I talked about this the other day with X and Court on a podcast. We're just like, the things that, no knock on them, because, you know, especially the further we get in society, the more you really don't have to live a barbaric kind of lifestyle. So we're almost like getting rid of that kind of way of life. But
I get what you're saying though. Like we talked, or before it was going into the Clemson game of 2020.
yeah,
And I think it was Coach Barnes who talked about that. Like he was talking about way back in the before time. Like there was no worrying about how you treat this guy or that. It was all fighting, and like it was all about war. And then just until we got to this little moment in time, it's been sophisticated and cordial and everything. But every part of history before that was all about fighting and surviving. And that's the point. That's the part where you know, what are we gonna do if you're gonna get killed or killed?
yeah.
Like,
I vividly remember that speech. That speech was
it changed.
fire.
That was a really good speech.
It's dope to me. Like
remember the wrench?
That one too.
the what?
The wrench?
What's that?
So it's from a movie. But it's like this kid used to get beat by his dad. And so he'd say, like, when his dad would come home, he'd lay down like a stick, a belt, and a wrench and say, choose which one I want you to beat me with. That you want to get beat with, right? Choose which one. And the kid would choose the wrench.
Because it hurt the most.
Right, yeah, because, and then and that guy was like, why'd you choose that? He was like, because, like, fuck him, that's why. So,
What is this, a movie?
yeah, it's called Good Will Hunting.
Oh, okay. I know that.
Yeah.
I know what that movie
Yeah.
is. Dang.
That's what, so Coach Barnes would always say, the wrench, which is like the
That's why
worst,
you can
the
always say,
hardest,
yeah.
like the hardest thing possible. Like, what is like the hardest, like, path, right? So, like,
Yeah.
that's what he'd always say, the wrench. So, like, when we got, like, 2020, when, like, everyone got COVID, blah, blah, like, everyone was sick.
Yeah.
Coach Brown was always saying, "Oh, they gave us a wrench. Like, this is the hardest thing that they could have done for us."
It's true.
And so what part of like a person would make you want to choose the wrench route? So what were the three? It was a wrench. It was
A wrench, a belt, and I think a stick. Right?
A
A
stick.
stick.
Okay. So what do you
So,
think? What do you think the easiest would be there?
A stick for sure.
Stick, then belt, then a wrench.
Right, yeah.
So like, what about a man or what about a person? Why would somebody, you know, the ass whooping is kind of like a figure of speech,
Yeah.
but for life, what would make somebody pick a wrench ass whooping path lifestyle
Right.
rather than a stick? Because essentially, like the natural, I mean, technically, I'm speaking, like, I feel like naturally as humans, we do want to protect ourselves. That's what your brain wants to do. You want to be protected and you want it to be comfortable. Why choose the wrench?
You get the most out of it for sure. Like the hardest route, like you always get the most out of the hardest route, no matter what.
Yeah.
Like easy, like I don't know if you've ever done like an easy. Say we've had an easy workout. Like, do you get anything out of an easy workout, or like an easy game? Like maybe like there's some like you've made some good plays and stuff, but like have you grown like as a person through that? Like if you think about anything easy, like I had like a dream, like, and it was kind of random, but like it just told me like nothing easy in life is good for you.
Damn.
Like anything, you know, because you won't get better.
Yeah. I think you told me that one time.
Yeah, I think I did.
You did. You told me that. You said nothing easy. And that's what I admire about our relationship so much.
Yeah.
Every time we talk, it's like, it's essentially in some kind of way, you know, what are you doing? Like, what's a way that I can help you develop, and you want to help me develop in some kind of way, just like conversation. Yeah, but like I remember you told me that, like nothing easy is good for you. But you could,
Right.
I mean, think about that. Like we can just sit here and think about it. Like what in life is like you said a game. You said a game. That's an example of something like if you play an easy opponent, I mean, I'm sure there's some things to learn from it, but is it truly good for you?
Right.
You know, is it good for you, or what's better, that or, you know, facing a extremely elite opponent?
That I think definitely
An elite
like
opponent.
Evie.
Win or lose.
Right.
Win or lose against an elite opponent.
And, you know, I think you really find out who you are, like just hard things. Like, you know what I mean? Like hard situations that you have to go through. You'll find out who you are.
Yeah.
Because like it easy. So like something easy, like, all right, let's go work out, but, you know, let's go like 50%. It's like, let's only go up to 185 on bench. Like, you're not getting stronger. You know, you're not, there's nothing in you that's growing. Like maybe a little bit, but nothing that could max you out and challenge you. And you know,
Okay, so you ready for this? Would you rate? Okay, so this is what came to my mind. So if that philosophy of a way of life could be true, what scenario would you rather do? So you're in front of the whole entire team. We have tire pulls, 1-on-1. You can go out there, and you can choose two paths in life. This is essentially the wrench and the stick again. You can go out there and you can go against a 180-pound receiver or a 190-pound receiver, and you know what the outcome would be. Or would you rather go against, and you literally, like, you're just like, pretend like it's a little menu and you get to choose, you know, which one you want to do in your own life. And the other option is, you know, you go against a 305-pounder, but you already know in the option it says you're going to lose. Which one would you choose?
I'd lose for sure.
You lose? See that? So, okay, I'm saying that to also say a part of that plays into it is pride. If you can minimize your pride and put your pride aside, it'll allow you to choose the harder route more often. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like sometimes the harder route isn't the route most gone down, because not necessarily that you're always scared to, you know, lose. Like, what's so bad about losing, quote unquote? But it's like, but pride. If you were a prideful man and your pride was through the roof and your pride was like the biggest thing about you, then you would never choose to lose in front of the whole team. You would choose the 190-pound receiver any day of the week, regardless of who it is. And so, what would you do?
I mean, I think sometimes it's not like, it's always a good story to say, yeah, I choose the big bad guy. Like I want to take down the biggest guy, but like we literally do that every day. Like like when we have match drills, we have to, like, I don't know, we all have to go against linemen. I know you can't go yet, but like it's either you go or you don't, like, and you give it your all, or you fail, and like I think part of being here is failing. Like I know we've all three of us, we've all failed a lot here, and like we've grown so much from that, and I think that's part about the wrench. Like you grow so much from taking that hard path that, like, I have so much my perspective on college football and working hard and just grinding, and I was talking about this the other day, but like I've become so accustomed to just straining, and like I know I'm gonna die in this workout, but like I'm gonna keep going. Like it's just the next rep. Like just keep going. Like you're gonna make it through. Like no matter what, just how hard do you want to go through it, and how hard do you want to, how much are you willing to give? Because there's a young guy watching you right now, and I got a young guy under my wing, and it's like if you don't go hard, he's not gonna go hard. So like you got to go, and it's no other option. Yeah. Like take that hard. Take the 300-pound guy, because there's no other option to go.
Yeah.
What would you choose?
I would choose the same thing. But it would be hard for, I'm not going to lie though, it's not like I'd pick the 305-pound guy. If I were to be able to have this conversation, so that's the beauty in conversation and talking, because not only do you gain knowledge, but you change perspective. You hear perspectives. If you were to catch me on the street and say, hey, G, what would you rather do? Like that, I might be like, man, let me get this done. You know what I'm saying? That's the natural human element. Yeah. And so it's fighting that. It's fighting that natural human element and, you know, continuing to be a better version of yourself. Because I think when you do choose that route, though, when you do get to, you know, dangerous, or not even dangerous, but like, you know, more critical situations where you're actually faced with real hardship. When you break two hands in the middle of a season, and that's where that stuff, to be able to go through that, it's not developed there. You don't just choose to do that. Yeah. That's been a decision that was already made weeks, years, months before, you know, that actual real hardship has taken place. And so that's another reason why choosing the quote unquote choosing the wrench could pay, you know, do good for you in the long run.
You be ready for things, and you know, shit comes up.
Yeah,
because stuff's gonna happen.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
It's life.
Okay.
You said what?
We could talk about that, man. This guy's nuts.
That's what I was. So yeah, for all people, everybody on the podcast, am I allowed to talk about that?
Yeah.
So we don't usually like disclosing injuries, but I mean it was last year. So yeah, everybody on the podcast that doesn't know, I'll let you tell it. What happened to you?
Oh man. Nothing. I broke my left hand. Broke my left hand. I forget what game, but actually, so I knew it was messed up. And then we kept looking at it, and for some reason, like it wouldn't show that it was it was broken. And then after a game, which I was wearing a cast on during the game, right, because it hurt.
Yeah.
And then after the game, I had them look at it again, and they didn't believe me because we've already looked at it so many times.
Yeah.
And they said like it was fractured, like it was broken. And then I played like a game or two on it, and then like it actually like a Tuesday practice, and then my left one goes, and I knew it went to because it felt like my right one, and then after that I just put another cast in my left one.
So what is that like? What was that like mentally, bro? Like, because I remember we had conversations about that. I remember, so me and Tommy are in the same line for dynamic warm-ups. So warm-ups start the practice. So we do this thing where we come up to each other, we do our handshake to start practice off. And I remember one time, it started off in the beginning of the year, we're just doing regular daps. And then midway through the year, I'm getting a casted handshake. Before you know it, there's 2 casts, and this dude's just still out there practicing.
Yeah.
But, what's that like mentally? I remember we talked about you feel like you couldn't fit blocks the way you wanted to. But, like, I'm sure, like, mentally, was there a part of you in that time? Did you go through a part where you're like, man, maybe I shouldn't play?
No, I didn't. I mean, like,
that voice didn't try to attack you. That voice didn't say.
I was like, I mean, once I did my other one, I was like, oh man, like this is gonna be a little tough, like a little bit harder, just because I was like, like these are important, and but I didn't really think about, oh man, like this is gonna be for whatever, blah blah.
Yeah.
I was like, just another challenge that you gotta use, but it's not like, I mean, so many guys like have so many injuries that they fight through, and like,
oh yeah,
I think that's just part of the game. But yeah, I mean, I think like injury is definitely part of the game. I mean, everyone here has had things that like you play through, and it's whatever.
It's just ironic, like both of your hands is just crazy. I think that was just a good testimonial to who you are.
Yeah.
I just remember, I don't know what week it was. It was like around the end of the season. It was after I think he got surgery or something, but it was a Monday, a day off, and it was like I walk into his house and he's just sitting there, just dozed off because he just had surgery. It's like, bro, what are you doing? He's like, he couldn't go to practice, but he was like ready to go. Like, it just seemed like he didn't even miss a beat.
Yeah,
and it's just like that's what inspires everyone else in our room. Like, like even if he doesn't know it, but like he's changed my mentality about how I play football so much, and it's just like you wouldn't want anyone else in your room because he's just the toughest, like most hardworking, motivating, like it's just the guy you want in your corner.
Yeah,
like,
me too. I don't want to turn this into a stroke Tommy session, but like, but it's real though. Like the amount of conversation, like the conversation that we have every single. Like, I mean, at least Tuesday and Wednesday, we'd always talk after practice, just like before we say a quick prayer after practice and just like talk about how it went. And some practices, I remember I'd just be like, I wish I would have did this better. I wish I would have did this. And it's always just like, there would always just be a good influence that came my way. That was just like, that's why I said, like I said earlier, it's like the power of conversation. When you talk to people about things, it allows you to get perspective on different areas in life. And sometimes conversation isn't just all about me teaching or you teaching me something I don't know or me teaching you something you don't know. It's just telling you what you already know, but in a different perspective. Mm-hmm. And look how much it changed things. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, but like, I just feel like it opens your mind up to a whole other way of living when you're able to see things through another perspective. I can't really think of an example off the top of my head, but it's just like, you can look at you can take a person that is going through one thing, and you could take another person that's going through the exact same thing. And depending on, isn't this funny? Depending on perspective influences how they feel about that situation.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like one person loses their job, another person loses their job. One is bawling their eyes out all night and doesn't know what to do with themselves, and the other is driving home laughing, can't wait for the next challenge in their life.
Yeah.
But it's like, why are they different? Is it because their knowledge of what losing a job is different? I don't know. Maybe I don't really think so. I think it's just we all know what it's like to lose a job, but somewhere in their perspectives is a little bit different. He sees opportunity for something else, and this person thinks their life's coming to an end, and it's all in perspective.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's so easy. I think like even like during the season to lose like perspective of like you're playing football. You know, like it really is just because like you're so like focused on all this other stuff, and you forget that you're playing football. You know, and that like you love playing football. Everyone loves playing football, but like you get caught up in all the other stuff and like not like outside noise. I mean, maybe like I think it's best to not even listen to anything, but like just you get caught up in the routine of everything, you know. But I don't know. I definitely I think a lot of, like you get lost kind of during the season.
Yeah.
You know, like if something happened during the season, it's like you wouldn't even remember that it happened, right? Because you focus on, you know, the next opponent, right? So,
Yeah. I remember one. Oh, my fault. Were you gonna say something?
No, you're good. Yeah.
I was gonna say. I just remember one time it was a Tuesday. It was. I won't even say what day of the week it was. I don't remember what days of the week it was because it was during camp. And I remember one time I was just on the knee. I was on a knee on the sideline, and I don't know. Maybe it wasn't camp because for some reason the sun was going down. So then it must have been in the season.
Right at the beginning.
Yeah, and so the sun was going down at practice, and we were over on the field one, the furthest grass field.
Okay. Yeah.
And we were over in the corner, and I'm sitting there. I'm on a knee. I'm watching practice, and this just enlightenment came over my head, and it's just like, wow. Like it was like the sunset was in the background, and guys were just going at it. And I'm looking at this, and I'm like, we're just out here playing football, bro. Like we're just out here playing football.
Definitely.
And you know, when you get so in the moment, it's like so intense. But then like I remember, I'll never forget that moment. It was like such a beautiful thing to just look at. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes, you know, you're around it so much you forget the simple things.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting there just watching guys. We're out here just playing ball, bro.
Right.
This is fun.
Yeah.
You know.
Definitely. I feel like a lot of times we get caught up in the scheme and all this game plan stuff, where it's just like sometimes, and I had trouble with this year too, because it's just new system and stuff. We just like go make the play. Like, and he did that a lot, but it was just like, and we could do it in practice, like we especially with the young guys. It's just like the ball's there, just go get it, like you know. And sometimes you thinking like, oh wait, is that my gap or is that like we probably is that the right guy to block or something like that? But like sometimes you just be like you were when you were in middle school, high school, just go and make that.
Look at the basics of your job. Your job is to essentially, with all the intricate stuff that does go into it, at the end of the day is to, you know, get the ball down. My job is to, like, you know, that guy's not tackling the ball carrier or, you know, to run this route at this depth. And it's just like, if you can kind of, it just gets so foggy sometimes, so it's easy to say, but sometimes if you can ever just like calm all that down and just, you know, literally just focus on where your job is, you know, it's, you know, just relax and get your job done. But I think that's done with maturity, because I've started feeling that later in my career as, you know, I start feeling that in myself more. In the beginning, dude, like when I was a freshman, there were so many things going through my head every play. It's like, I'm thinking about my coach. Like, why am I thinking about my coach? I'm overthinking about what my coach thinks. You know, I'm thinking about my coach. I'm thinking about, I'm thinking about what the play is. I'm thinking, there's just all these things you're thinking about. Like, is this guy going to embarrass me in front of everybody? Like, there's all these things you're thinking in your mind. And then it's like, and you got to, and people don't understand this. Like, a whole entire play happens in, you know, 4 seconds. That's it. And like the actual, like, your point of contact with somebody is literally like 0.2 seconds. And you have all these, you know, hairline under the chin, hands inside, elbows together, strike. Like, you have all these things that we do. And it's like, it's made in such a fast instance, but over time it starts to slow down. And I notice it's, you know, the game gets easier.
Yeah, I think that's why, like, you practice it so much. Like, you don't, like, once a game starts, you try not to think at all. You know what I mean? Like, you
just have,
overthinking, like,
I got another question. So at what point, so I was thinking about this earlier. I was thinking about, like, you know, what kind of topics I want to talk to you guys about. But one thing I was thinking is, like, at what point does commitment, I'll break down this question. But at what point does commitment become insanity? And so if you break it down, the essence of what the word insanity means, it's doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome. But then the exact contrary belief to that is if you want something, you do it over and over and over again until you get it. Okay. And so my thing is like, so let's say there's a kid named Jimmy out there and he wants to, pursue a career in baseball. And wow, what if I just directly just spoke to somebody that's named Jimmy? Wants to play
it probably is Jimmy.
Make sure you message me if I'm talking to you. But at what point does the commitment of playing baseball, or he wants to make it, but failure after failure after failure after failure. Yeah. But it's like everyone's told it's normal to fail. But then on the other end of that, the exact contrary belief is that there's this thing called insanity, which is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. So just dive into that. What is it?
That's a good question.
Yeah,
it is. I think that's interesting because it's like, I think the only way to get what you want is to be persistent about it. Because I know Coach Knowles always says that, he was so persistent. But at one point, at the same time, it's when does it become I don't know, because I always believe if you keep chopping away, you're gonna get it.
Yeah, I believe that too.
Because I think you should always believe that, But I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's a little line in that question where it's like when we've failed, we kind of we don't notice I think we switch it up a little bit. Okay, that doesn't work. All right, or I just tried to run through that B gap, but I got smacked.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it again, but I have to do it a little bit differently so I can make that play, or I could.
Right.
So I'm doing the same thing over again, but it's I have that knowledge of, all right, something like that might not work, but now I could use it to my advantage the next play. And so it's I'm doing the same thing over and over, and it's kind of like insanity because right now a kickoff is insanity. We're doing the same thing over, but the experience you gain through doing it over and over and over, it helps you with that next rep, and it helps you with that next.
So are you just failing to fail, or are you failing with wisdom to do it better the next time?
Yeah, you're going to fail no matter what, but it's because I know a couple of times I've ran down and someone, boom, blindside, dang, all right, what's going to happen? So now I'm looking, but I know if I keep running as hard, he might not be looking the same way, so or I can duck behind him, or I think it's just little adjustments you make throughout each. Or it depends on what you're doing. If you're playing baseball or in football, little adjustments. All right, I could switch this here. I could move my feet. I could be more patient here because I know he's coming down hard, so I can get over top or something like that. I think there's little adjustments. It's not necessarily insanity, but it's how can I be better? And we analyze, we watch our film over and over and over. So it's not like we're just sitting there all right, that didn't work. I'm gonna do the exact same thing again because he knows I'm gonna do the exact same. We're gonna try to change it up just a little bit.
Right. Yeah. My cameraman Trey, he made a good point. Before this, we were talking about that too. And I literally said this to him, or then made another point later, and he was saying why are you doing what you're doing? Is it for quote unquote success, or is it doing it because it's what makes you happy? Mm-hmm. And so I don't think so. If I draw that parallel to what we were just talking about, doing something over and over again is considered insanity, but it's not necessarily, it's all about your intention on why you're doing it. So if you're doing it just for success, if I'm playing football just for the riches and just for the glory of myself, then it's almost a completely different story. Then it's insanity to keep going if I'm failing. Yeah. If that makes sense. But if you truly enjoy what you're doing, I love playing football. I love the components of football that go into it. I love the man that football makes me become. Then it's not insanity. Commitment is not an insanity. It's just doing what you enjoy. So I kind of that's kind of where my mind was going when I kind of heard that.
No, definitely, I agree with that. Yeah. But you learn every time if something doesn't work. Yeah, because if you keep doing the same things over and over, but that's not your passion. Yeah. I think that's insanity for sure. I agree. But even if you're doing things that that's not your passion, then what are you doing? Mm-hmm. I don't think you play football just to get a lot of money. I think you play football because you love football, right? Yeah. You do things because that's your passion, not because of what people think about you or how much money it makes you.
Yeah. Yeah, I went to a speaker the other day. You guys know, Sam from iCarly, the girls. You know the show iCarly, right?
Yeah,
the blonde girl, Sam.
Yeah, okay. I think I heard it.
Yeah, so
I didn't watch it.
I thought you were about to say what's his name?
Spencer.
No. African
Gibby?
Wild Dog.
Oh,
E.T.
no, not him.
Okay.
No, I'm
He's
talking
cool.
about the actual show. So it's beside the point. I went. She made this book or whatever, and she came into. Her name is Jeanette McCurry or something like that. And she came into town, and she was doing this book review. She made a book, and I guess it's like
I've heard about
it.
It
sold really good. And I was listening to her speak, and she was saying like how there was one point that she made in it that when we were just talking right now, it kind of reminded me of that. She was like, and I almost don't really agree with what she was saying, but she was like giving some advice, and she was saying like, if it's not right, if that thing is not right in your life, like forget about it. Or if like, that relationship with that person, you don't think, if it's kind of rocky, forget about it. If it's not sitting with you right, initially, or if if you don't get the best vibe from it, get rid of it. And I don't want to skew her words, because she said it in a little bit of a different way, but that was essentially the essence of what she was saying in one of the parts of it. But then when I left there, that had me thinking. That was something I took from it, and I was like, there's things in my life where I feel like they're not 100% stable, and I'm like, but I think it's not. Like if I were to say football is 100% stable right now, I'd be lying. Like, it's not true. It's not stable. It's not 100% stable. But it's like that's almost like that. What we were talking about earlier. That what that gives you, the fact that
It's not stable.
the fact that it's not stable.
Right.
If like football was like if success of football is 100% and complete failure is at 0, the fact that I'm at 79 is what drives me. If I was at 100, I don't know how much drive I would have. That 79% just makes me just want to go. Like you ever know that? I don't know how much you guys play video games at all.
Yeah.
When I was there, I used to play. Like you ever make a My Player on 2K?
Yeah.
And when they start you off, you start on the bench, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like that feeling to get your guy. The first thing is like to get your guy a starter, and then you want to get your guy, his first triple double, and then you want to lead the league in points. And you want to do all these things, and it's like that feeling that you get, like you're almost simulating that in real life. Like I'm my own My Player playing in this career, and I'm trying to upgrade my player every single day and become a better player in this quote unquote video game called life.
Yeah, but that's the thing when you get to you're too good, you kind of or you feel like you completed it, you kind of lose that desire to play My Player and again. And I think that's for me like there's no way I'm getting to that point like right now like there's so much more that I can like learn and like accomplish and like I watch NFL games differently. I watch other college games so much differently just because of the knowledge we have from playing at this level. Like I watch that linebacker so much differently, the way he has his technique versus mine on film, and like I use what I see like in the Super Bowl. I'm watching like the Pacheco guy. He's running through holes, but like that linebacker didn't fill his gap 100%. And you're like, dang, if he just knew to keep going one more inch, maybe he could have made that play. Like it's just rough. Like it was a play on the perimeter where I think it was Bolton. He could have shimmied his feet and came to a stop, and he got cut, and they missed three other people missed their ankle. They didn't on their hip, and so it was like we practice that every day, and it's like our coaches make it seem like like we should like like if we miss that, it's gonna turn into that, and then it literally happens right in front of your eyes. Like he missed his hip, so everybody else missed their hip, and it's just like crazy how the game just works like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I saw one with like all the linebackers were running sideways.
Yeah, and they all
cut back.
Like the punt return too.
Exactly. Yeah,
it's bad angles and.
Right.
It's,
you can't watch the game anymore just casually.
Yeah, it's true. It boils down to so much specific stuff we practice every day, and it's like, how do you get better? You could always get better. Like none of those guys are perfect, but they're all striving to be the best players they can be. And so it's like they just won the Super Bowl, and they're running it back because they know that they can do it better. They can do this everything else a little bit better.
Yep.
A little bit here and there. So like that's the reason Tom Brady comes back for 8 Super Bowls. I mean, now he's gone.
Yeah,
but like,
So I think that's probably a part of being, ambitious is that, how I said the part that drives me about, football is that I'm at that 79% and I want 100, but I'm not there. It's almost an illusion because even when I get to my 100% of what I want right now, it turns back into 79 because I want so much more.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sure Tom Brady at one point in his life, when he was playing at TL North, he was like, oh my gosh, all I want to do is be the starter. I want to be the starter. I want to have a good, college football career. And that would have fulfilled his 100%. But then as an achiever, as an ambitious, go-getter, that 100% wasn't enough, and he went back down to 70. He went back down to 79, and then you start climbing.
Keeps getting higher.
Then now you just won your 3rd Super Bowl, and that's not enough.
Yeah.
Now you're at 5. Then you're at 6, and it's like that's where you start growing like immensely. It's just when it's just never enough. But then that's like I said earlier. I feel like there's cons to that. It's like when do you fulfill yourself? When do you get satisfaction in life? Because that's where I feel like I am. If you would have told me in 6th grade where I'm at now, I'd be jumping for joy. You know what I'm saying? Like holy, like I made it in life. But right now I'm at 79%. It's like, but then me and where I'm gonna be, God willing, where I'm gonna be in 3-4 years, that's gonna make this me right now go like, oh my gosh, I made it.
Right.
But then I'm at 79% still because I want more.
Yeah.
So it's a beauty and it's a beast, It's a beautiful thing because it keeps you, steady and you're going, you're ambitious, but at the same time it's like, I don't know.
It's almost scary. It's almost like
it's scary.
Like you don't know.
It definitely is, yeah.
Like you don't know when the end is, and like
but there is no end. Like there never will be.
Until you die.
Until you die.
There's no rest.
Yeah. Like if you're not chasing after something until you die, like
I think that's like going back to what I said about Andrew Tate, him fighting. He got too old, so now he can't fight. Now he's looking for controversy because he wants to fight the world. He's like, what's next?
Right.
I wonder what my next. I know I'll find what my next is when I can't, play football. I don't know if I'm going to be trying to, get more real estate properties in my portfolio than anybody else. What's going to be my next, but it's going to be something. And, you build all these habits, now at, 20, 21, 22 years old.
I can't imagine a life where like you don't like have any ambitions.
Yeah.
Like where there's nothing that drives you, that makes you get up in the morning, like.
Yeah.
I wonder what that is like.
Yeah, it's where you wish for times where you like, kind of like, dang, I could rest. But then like, as soon as you rest, you feel like you rest too long. You're like, I'm missing out. Like, someone's getting better than me.
Yeah,
dude.
And
you can't.
I get anxiety from that. Like, I'm like, I can't. Like, even on my team, like he's my brother, but like, I want to beat him in all the competition stuff. So it's like, it's not like if I'm resting too long, I know he's not gonna rest that long.
Right?
Yeah.
Like if I'm taking a nap, I'm like, man. Like seriously though, like someone else probably.
G's not taking a nap.
G's doing the difference right now. Like
he's getting robbed.
That's tough. That's that's definitely.
I think I'll stop taking naps.
Yeah, no, that's where I come into like vacations, like spring break. I wanted to go somewhere for 3 days because just get my mind off football a little bit. But I know in those 3 days,
you're gonna work
there's
out.
me at the back of my mind, just like I'm gonna start. Dude, in your body, you just feel like. I don't know. Sometimes I just feel my muscles not being as strong as they
atrophy. Like I've actually felt like like your muscles start flexing and stuff, and you haven't worked out in a while. It's just like,
and I'm like, and I hate that. I want to stay in tip top shape, and like those I already know those 3 days. I'm gonna be thinking like, oh, what is someone? I already know someone else is somewhere else right now training and getting better.
Definitely,
but okay, so yeah, I want to play a quick game. It's not really a game, but like I want to say a word, and I want just like you to define what that word means to you, and they're all words that we hear every single day, but it's like, what do they really mean? Everyone just says it. What does it mean? Okay, so first word is it's a phrase, to be the idea of being successful. So what is the idea of what is success? And like I said earlier, no right or wrong answer, just more so open dialogue. Like what, like, you know, just let's conversate about it.
I would say it's like reaching your goal, like whatever you set your goal to be, like or whatever. I want to get to NFL. I want to do this. Or I want to be Iron Buckeye. Like reaching that goal and like getting to that point where you want to, where you've achieved your goal. I guess that's why I say being successful, because it can be in so many different lights. I guess you can be successful on the field, get A's, get 4.0, get whatever, but. I think just.
And so, how many goals are there in life though? Because that goal, to achieve that goal, like it could be done by 32. So are you successful at 32? So like, what about the back half of your entire life? Where does success play a role if you've already achieved your goal? If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think the most successful people just set new goals, and they just.
That's okay. So so success is just never really ending.
Yeah, I mean, but if you achieve it, you're successful in that sense. But you know, you just got to make a new one, and, you know, and just keep like finding new ways to better yourself, and yeah. I mean, I guess I don't know. You got anything?
What about you, Tommy?
I think like being successful is how other people look at you. I don't know. I think it's hard because like you ask like a guy in the NFL, and from the outside, like people will be like, "Oh, like he's really successful. Like, you know, he's had a really good career." But like to himself, it's like he's not successful because he's not where he wants to be. So I think, I don't know. I don't know if you can define it really.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
People, because to me, this like someone can be this guy successful. Someone say no, he's not really successful. So I think it's I don't know.
It's just tough, you know. Like that's a word, success. You hear that once? You probably hear that almost every day, like, or at least if not every day, every other day. You know, and it's like, what we say it so much. Like, what does it really mean? What is success? And so I don't know. I don't have it figured out either. I guess my opinion and what I feel like to be successful in my life is I want to carry all of these tools of what I'm working towards right now and I'm using in my life, you know, to all in all become the best version of G. Scott Jr. can ever be. You know, that's success to me. And that is like being a father one day is like, you know, being an elite father, you know, like being able to have the resources and, you know, wisdom to, you know, raise my children the right way and, you know, be a good husband, be a good man just to the people that are around me in my life. And just like, you know, like this 60-year-old G. Scott one day, and he's so well respected because of the things he's done for other people and the things that he's done in this world. So I don't know if it's necessarily down to one thing, but if I were just to sum it up, success, and I know it's not very objective. I mean, it's not very objective, it's pretty subjective, but it's just to be the best version of G. Scott Jr. that he can be. And like leave nothing on the table. Like, why not? We only get X amount of years on this life, on this earth, and it's like go achieve and get everything you can while you're here, and not even the physical things, the intangibles, you know, relationships. Go get every relationship you can get, you know, be the best man you can be, because I mean, when it comes to like the physical things, like you can't bring anything physical. You're gonna leave this world with what you came in here with, which is nothing. Your skin,
seriously,
your bones. That's what you're gonna leave here with. So, whatever you acquire physically doesn't really matter. It's like almost everything else. So, I say that to say I think being the best version of myself is what it's to be successful to me.
Yeah.
So, word number 2 is failure. Like, just define failure.
I think failure only happens if you give up. Yeah, but if you keep trying, I don't think you don't fail. You just learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I'm you know attempting to do something, and it doesn't succeed, or let's just say let's say that rope pull against the 305 pounder, and you lose. Like, did you fail, or did you just lose? If that makes sense.
I don't know. I don't think you failed.
Because that's not really a failure. Because
Yeah.
like all in all, the reason you're doing it is for football.
Yeah, right.
So you didn't fail. That was just like a loss in your journey.
Yeah.
That's why I'm gonna go back to boxing. Like, you're fighting. You just got punched and knocked down. I mean, did you fail? Like, that was just a loss in that fight. It's almost like losing a tire pull. It's like that's a loss in that fight. What is the thing that you can? You won the battle, or you can lose. You can lose the battle, but you can still win the war.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
you get better from it, right? So
yeah.
I like what you said. Like failure is more of just like it's something telling you that you need to try a different way or go a different way. Like, not go a different way, but like it's not over. It's not like failure is only when you're. It can only be if you stop.
Yeah.
It's just like. It's only like figuring out another way to win, to not fail, and like, I wouldn't even call it failure if you lose at something.
Yeah, just another attempt.
Yeah.
So you give up. But if after a certain amount of losses, you essentially give up.
Right, but like
then you fail.
Do you give up, or like did you learn something? Like, you still grow from it, right?
Yeah. So being a failure in certain thing.
That's what, but like the word failure is like a
failure's
mean
tough.
word. Like, if someone to call me a failure,
Yeah, that's
or like call anyone a failure. Like, that's a deep word.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Dang. Okay. Next word is happiness. What is it? What does it mean to be? What is happiness?
Ooh, I think being present in things that you enjoy. I think is something that brings the most happiness. Like, I couldn't even really describe it because it's not really like but it's just like being around, doing things and being around things that you enjoy are what brings me happiness.
Yeah.
And like the people I surround myself with and the things I do, whether it be by myself or with other people, like just like football or, like hanging out with my friends. Like, that's what happiness is to me.
Right.
What do you think it is?
I think I'm like thinking more on the literal side. Just like, I think happiness is literally a word to describe when dopamine is released in your body. So like, whatever that is, like, I mean,
Be a lot of things.
Happy, like whatever makes you. I think happy. The reason I think happiness is so hard to describe because it's very person specific. Your happiness is not my happiness. My happiness is not your happiness, and so. My happiness is specific to me, and I'm on a striving mission to figure out what my happiness is,
right.
What makes me happy, what brings me joy. And the thing about happiness, you can't want happiness but hate the darkness in the world, because if you hate and never experience anything darkness, there's no such thing as happiness. If there's
right.
constant dopamine released in your mind, what is anything else? You would just feel it would be nothing.
That'd be normal.
So it's like,
We were talking about this, yeah.
as mad as you get as when failures come and you lose and you get your ass kicked on I'm pulling tight end to fill the C gap or fill the B gap, and I get my ass kicked. It's like, without that, there is no kicking somebody's ass.
Yeah.
If I never feel that, there's no glory or dopamine or released for the success. And so I think happiness is just, specific to each person, what releases that dopamine in your mind. And you also have to keep in mind that you can't have that without dark.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like if you move to Florida and you live a great life, it's like you won't appreciate the sun because you never see the rain.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like
you only need the light when it's raining low. You only miss the sun. You only miss the sun when it starts to snow.
Yeah.
What song is that?
You don't know that song? You know that song.
I don't know.
You know that
I'm
song.
not a music whiz though.
It's called Let Her Go.
Who's it by?
You only know your love. It's like he's comparing all these things. He's like, you only need the light when when it's burning low. You would never like all these lights are in here. We would have never thought we needed these lights, but let one of these lights cut off in here. We go, oh shit, we need some lights. You know what I'm saying? You never know your lover until you let her go. That's kind of
that soft song, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
A happy person doesn't look in the mirror and say they're happy though. Like they're just happy. You know? Like they're not going to be like, today I'm going to be happy.
Yeah.
It's like, no, like
Just
you are happy.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
All right, cool. Last one is what is fear? Like, just define fear.
Fear, I think fear is in your head, and it's just it's what you don't know, and fear. I've talked about this extensively with my first linebacker coach Wash. It's just like it's controllable, and he always described it as ninjas, but like
As what?
As ninjas, just like in your head, just like you don't know what they are, but they're trying to stop you from doing this other stuff and giving you fear or giving you like lack of confidence, lack of your skills, lack of your preparation. But you can, as long as you train yourself to fight against it and you put yourself in that position to go against fear over and over and over and over, your concept of fear gets smaller and smaller, and like you understand that why you're fearing, and now you can fear less. And I just think it's in your head. It's more of a mental fixation, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's definitely in your head.
I think that's so true. That's like speaking of Mike Tyson and Customato. Customato is his trainer. You know who that is. I'm sure you know who Customato is too. He said this thing. It's like fear is like fire. You guys ever heard of that before? Fear is like fire. It can warm up your food and make your food safe, and it can also burn down your house. It's all about how you use it. Fear is inevitable. Fear is in everybody. We all feel it. And it's like sometimes in some situations, you might think you're the only one that feels the fear. And it's like you got to understand that everyone feels that fear too. The only difference is how do you use that fear? Yep. Me and you, we both have fear on the same thing, but I let it turn me away and curve away and say I don't want to do it, and you used it to motivate you and propel you and to go harder at it because I have the fear of losing, and that's just that right there is just two ways. You use fire to make you a beautiful dinner, and I used it to burn my house down. And it's like, yeah, so like fear is like fire.
Yeah, I think it's one of the most challenging things to do, and I feel like people at the top of their game still let it burn their house down sometimes.
Yeah.
And like I think it's a mentality.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about we used to talk with some of our strength coaches, like a lot of them were having kids. Yeah. And they're like I come in here every day and I'm ready to have so much energy. I come here, I motivate all you guys, but like I'm scared for this kid. I just want this kid to have the best life, but I'm scared because I don't know how to do it. Like, I don't know. And like, I remember I was talking with, I think it was Coach Quinn, but he was just like, how are you going to, like, you can't fear, like, you don't fear anything else when you do it every day. So why are you going to fear this? So like, have that same mentality with your daughter and like attack every day with her. And like, there's nothing to fear if you just like push it away. Like, no, we can do it. Like, and I think that part is powerful because like you're raising you, like that's you. And so it's like, how are you gonna show them the way of leading them a good life? And like, and that, I think that stuff's scary too. Like we're still young, so we're not really thinking about it yet. But like that's the next part of our life. And yeah, I don't know.
What's fear to you?
I think it's like made up like in the future, like I think if you're worried about the future, that's when fear will come in. So like you just got to live for right now. Fear is definitely, I don't know. I mean, we've talked about it for sure. I know I've definitely like read a lot of things about it, but I can't really remember. But I know it's in the future for sure. Yeah. Because it's like made up things in your mind, right? Because it's not a reality, and it doesn't make sense why you waste time even thinking about it. Yeah. But everyone definitely does. Yeah. And I think it's part of human beings, right? Mm-hmm. But it literally makes no sense for why you would waste time worrying about what would happen in the future.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do. I mean, I think
Yeah.
everyone does, right? I think that's
Yeah.
a challenge of trying not to.
Well, I think a part of fear is good in its reality, because if it wasn't for fear, we'd all be dead. You know, we'd all run in front of cars because we wouldn't know. We have basic knowledge of, you know, I fear this because I can die. You know, that's why I don't just walk off of a building, because I have fear of what can happen. But it's like, that's the extreme.
Yeah.
And then there's like the fine line where it's like what you're saying is like not having stressing about what's going to happen next, and just living presently. In two of your answers so far, I think you've said both living present. I think you said that for happiness or something too. It was just like, you know, living in that moment. And sometimes when you start, I actually don't do great at this. I'm so in thought, and such a deep thinker about what's going to happen or what has already happened and why it happened. Like, I think about both of those like so deeply and intricately, like really, really deep, like deeper than I probably should. And it, you know, sometimes when I do that about the future, it starts giving me fear of, I don't want to do that again because this might happen to me again, or I don't want to do this because I've seen this happen to this person, or I don't want, you know, and all these things are going through my mind, and I think so deeply into it that it causes fear. And then I do the same thing. The past would give me like, do the same thing. I'll think so deeply on why this just happened, and it'll, you know, give me fear to not want to, you know, take that extra step to do this again because I know what happened in the past. And it's like the power of living present and living now allows you to, you know, because right now as we sit down, there's no problem.
No.
There's no problem right now. What's the problem right now? We're sitting down, we're chilling, we're relaxing, right? And it's like, okay, now take that same thing to, you know, your first snap of, you know, we're gonna no matter how you size, we're all gonna take our first snap of team run or inside drill. When you go down to line up, like, what's wrong right now? Nothing. Like,
Nothing.
I mean, there could be something, you know, you might have a little, you know, a bruised shoulder or whatever it is. You might have that, but if it's not detrimental or it's not something that's like really gonna hurt you, are you okay? Like, are you fine? If you're okay, then you're good. Like, stay, like I'm just imagining myself like lining up right now. But what you would usually be happening, I'd be thinking 1,000 things, which is normal because I have a job. But part of you had to just, you know, slowly just calm down and be like, I'm good right now. Execute my job. Right. But that's so hard when you get in the moment, because then you start thinking about the future, you start thinking about what happened in the past, and now fears are going. But the power of living present.
Definitely. The power of now.
Yeah.
It's a good book. I suggest it.
The Power of Now. I think, yeah. I think you've told me about that one too.
Yeah, it's really good. That's all it talks about, is just living right now.
Yeah. Did you ever finish that book we were reading?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
Lou Gehrig.
Lou Gehrig.
We talked about him during the year. You know about Lou Gehrig?
Yeah. Well, he was
baseball player.
The baseball player, dude. I don't want to like.
I don't want to sound stupid.
He's good.
Yeah.
He's really good.
Yeah.
Dude,
He had
They
the
had
disease,
like the
right?
first part of that, yeah. But no one knew about it. Right.
He played without telling
Yeah,
anybody?
he played with the disease.
Oh yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah. He continued to keep playing through.
But
it.
he never like pulled himself out. Like, he went crazy.
Dude,
You know
I wish I
Wally
would have.
Pipp?
Huh?
Wally Pipp?
Wally
I think
Pipp.
that's his name. Yeah.
Which one is that?
It was the guy that he...
The next guy they're talking about?
No. It was the guy that Lou Gehrig replaced.
Oh yeah. What was he like? I forgot.
I think Lou Gehrig was his backup, and he replaced him. And then like he went on to like never miss another game for like the years
was him.
and years.
Yeah,
Remember Coach Combs would always talk about that?
Yes.
Didn't miss a game. Like, he played through. He actually. I mean, I read it a minute ago, and I wish I would have did is like went and got all the statistics. I wish I could.
I have a picture of it.
Oh yeah, find that, bro. Because I wish I can just say right now, like, the things, like, it was like a crazy amount of games. He got hit in the head with a pitch, and like, I don't want to say it cracked his skull, but a part of me thinks that it. Tommy, did it crack his skull?
I think it did, yeah.
Yeah, and everyone was like, thought he was gonna be like, the streak would end, and he came back and played, and he just played a ridiculous amount of games, played through sickness, played through whatever, and it's like, dang, like, you know, it made Tommy and I be like, dang, who are we complaining about? I might have a homework assignment, you know.
My ankle hurts.
My ankle
Right,
hurts.
but I can't find it. But there was something where like after he died, like they x-rayed his hands.
Oh, yeah.
And he had like 17 healed fractures in his hands.
Oh my goodness.
In
I
just
think
one
that
hand.
was-
Just one hand.
It's like Goggins.
Yeah.
I think that was
He never
before.
said
I think that was
anything.
before you broke your hands.
Yeah, it was like during the summer. I think we read it, but
Yeah.
it was amazing.
17 broken.
Yeah, like fractures in his hands, and like he never missed a pitch, like anything. First, like some crazy time.
No, that's.
But what were we just talking about? I don't even remember.
We were talking about fear,
Oh, that's right.
but no, it made me want to.
crazy.
Yeah, but that's like and that goes all the way back to one of the first things we talk about is like what is it to be a leader? He's a leader, dude, because consistency.
Right.
Are you the guy that's going to show up every single day? And that's hard. And I'd be lying if I say I'm not there. Like I'm not and I'm not the perfect every single day. I'm not going to have the attitude of gratitude and ready to work. And it goes all the way back to the 79%. That goes back to 79%. And it's like I'm not there. I'm steady working on it, and that's just what gives me the joy. So
It's crazy how we like branched off into.
yeah, we hit a lot.
Like
of
I forgot
topics.
what we were just when you said that book.
No, but shoot, I think that's a good. You said what?
To stay hard.
Stay hard.
Yeah.
Stay hard. Shout out
Stay
David
hard.
Goggins. If you ever want to see this podcast,
You should get him on.
I should get him on. I will.
No, for real.
I feel like that's the power, man. If I truly had the desire to, I could get him on here. I feel like I could if you really put your mind to it. I don't know if I have that desire.
Yeah, he'd make you do
that
100
strong.
push-ups before you start.
Yeah. Should I do that? Should
I would. That'd be
In the future,
amazing.
like,
if you
way-
had him on here.
I mean, why not though? Why couldn't I? Why could
Yeah.
anyone else?
I mean, like in the future.
Yeah.
When you get him on here,
yeah. When I do,
send me a text.
All right, yo. Well, shoot, I appreciate you guys, coming through. This conversation was huge. I hope, like I said this in my last podcast. I do some of these podcasts because I used to watch these. I used to watch these kind of things growing up, and it gave me a sense of motivation. Not only motivation, but perspective, like we talked about through conversation. And it just made me want to be a better version of myself. And so I hope, there's some of the reason I do this. I hope I can offer that through conversation to, thousands of other kids out there that are going to watch this video and be like, I want to be a better version of, myself. What is it like? What does it look like to be an Ohio State football player? And they hop on this and it's just like, wow, like we didn't say anything that they didn't already know. We didn't teach them anything new, but we said things in a different way to give them a different perspective on the things they already knew. Work hard. They already know that, but it's like we give them perspective in a different angle. And so that was kind of the whole point of where I was, going with this, and we did exactly that. And I appreciate y'all.
Yeah. Thanks, G.
Yes, sir.
It's a great time, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys tapping in, man. Till next time, God bless.